Good morning. I'm glad that everybody is here with us this morning. And I would like to go ahead and get us started with the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now for our prayer, Chris Hammock from Perry County.
Dear Lord, we come together today with grateful hearts as we begin this conference. We are thankful for the opportunity to gather with colleagues, share knowledge, strengthen partnerships, and serve with integrity and wisdom. May this conference be productive, encouraging, and inspiring. Allow us to learn from one another, support one another, and return home renewed in purpose, committed to the citizens we serve. In your name we pray, amen.
Okay. Honestly, I think Shelby should call forward, so I can introduce her. I'll go get her. Do you want me to get Vicky too, or just Shelby? Okay. Okay. Hi, everybody. Are you excited to hear our board welcoming? That's the energy we need, people, okay? We have 3 days, okay? Yeah, that's what I want. Thank you. Okay, so please help me to welcome our board, and we'll start with State Examiner Paul Joyce.
Stacy's awful excited to be this early in the morning. But yeah, you have 3 more days, and yesterday, those of you who are here got to listen to Tim Berry. I saw him, he posted something up, or somebody did on Tim was here, but Tim's always a great guy and is a great supporter of yours out there in the field. For any of you that don't know me, I'm Paul Joyce. I'm the State Examiner. I've been on our board now for 20 years. So how many of you were working out in the auditor's office 20 years ago? Any of you lucky enough to be audited by me? I've been, I took this last, Beth and I have taken on this year the task of bringing all 275 members of our staff up to our office and having an hour-long conversation with them. Because, I just want to make sure that we're in touch with what's going on out there in the field. And I think that's really important. And it's really important how their interaction with you guys is and that we really understand what's going on. I took a little different approach this time around whenever I got appointed as State Examiner. And for those of you who don't know, this is my 4th appointment as State Examiner. And historically, and Tammy has been one of the deputies, and Tammy decided to retire last year. And I would tell you that you guys were very much at the forefront of her heart on when she was at the county level, and she just never really left there from that space. And she always, felt that you guys were number 1 on her list. But when Tammy left, it gave an opportunity to really relook at the services that we provide up in the office to you guys. And one of the things that we did, we were started doing last year, and we was to have one of each. We have 2 people that up in our office, basically, that represent you on a constant basis. And that's Stacy back here, wave Stacy, and Michael Rourke. And Stacy is the subject matter expert, okay? And that's extremely important when you call up and you say, you have a specific question about something going on in a county. But the second part of that is, I'm going to tell you that 90% of the questions you guys call up and ask have some kind of legal ramification to it. You want to know, one, can we do this? How do we do this? I was talking to somebody today, they were saying, do you have to appropriate, a fund that's non-reverting? It sounds kind of silly to even ask it out loud, but their council member was saying you don't have to appropriate non-reverting funds, and it's not true. But it's more of a legality, so we can bring them back to the law of where it is. And where I'm getting with that is the other person is Michael Rourke. Stand up, Michael. Michael is an attorney, and he works with Stacy all the time. And we really want to get you subject matter expert and an attorney, so we can try to get you the right answer the first time. And then to build on that, when Tammy retired, we talked to the body we report to, which is the audit committee for the Legislative Council, and said we really thought that it would be better if the second deputy that we had was an attorney, because we really felt that it's that important that the information that gets disseminated from our staff to you is accurate and as legal as it can be. They're not legal opinions because we're not your attorney, but we want to get as close to right as possible. I mean, I'm definitely not one above to say that, I know the law, and I slept at a Holiday Inn last night, so I'm an attorney. Okay, I'm not an attorney. I'm a CPA. Beth's not an attorney. She's a CPA. Jennifer Gallagher, which is the other deputy, is an attorney. And she's also a CFE, which is a certified fraud examiner. So, those are I think, qualities that can help bring that to benefit you guys. I mean, I would hope that, as you build out your offices, that you think about, on that, your constituents, the people that use your services, and ensure that you're hiring those right people for that job. It's very important. The other person that, when you call our office, you should talk to this person. Stand up. This is Shelby Brooks. She'll be the one that answers and gets most of your initial phone calls. Mike and Stacy and the other groups that work with the city and towns and schools and that, they have lots of stuff to do on a regular basis of working on our uniform compliance guidelines and getting ready for these seminars, and then answering, some of the more, like I say, the more in-depth questions. For right now, we brought Shelby in, so Shelby could help answer some of what we would consider normal questions that we don't find real difficult because we deal with them on a regular basis. And we have a pretty good database of answers up there that we use. I have tasked Jennifer with working with AI, and then, everybody's scared of AI, and probably rightfully so. But working with AI to try to come up with a great database that you guys can work against and ask questions to come up with answers that will be based purely upon State Board of Accounts guidance that we've given currently and historically, and hopefully it'll reference, when that guidance was given, so we could, attach a little bit of, does it need updated to it. So, one of the things that we always want to do is we work toward your benefit, and that's extremely important. I've tasked our staff to be as efficient as possible out there. Some of them feel they get rushed through an audit. But, as cost increases, we got to make sure that we're efficient and timely when we're out there. And that's really important. I do want everybody to know that I am available if you can't get an answer. Please do reach out to me. And I do get plenty of calls. I get calls from, different judges. I get calls from sheriffs, auditors, treasurers. So don't feel like, you're on an island of your own if you would actually call up there and say, I can't get this answer. I need to find it out. So we will try to work out and find that answer for you. With that, what we're going to do is I'm going to have Beth and Jennifer both talk a little bit, and then Luke, Kenworthy, David Bodorth, and Jennifer Welsh is going to talk for a little bit. And if there's any time between then and at least Nishala coming up here at 9:45, I'll take some questions, and if anybody asks any questions, we'll be glad to answer them. So for right now, I'd like to bring up Beth Kelly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate Stacy's enthusiasm this morning because, as accountants, a lot of times we're labeled as boring. I remember when I was in college and going in to major for accounting, I told my mom, I said, if I ever start acting like a boring accountant, let me know and I'm going to change careers. Well, 27 years later, I'm still an accountant, so apparently I'm not that boring, but if I am, I think it's too late to change careers, so I'm in it for the long haul now. Anyways, thank you all for coming today. As Paul said, I'm Beth Kelly. My position is over the audit side. So when you see the auditors, hi Nathan. Nathan used to be one of my auditors. So as the auditors come out to do your audit every year, and counties get an audit every year, there might be some small counties that got rolled to a 2-year, 24, 25. Does anybody have an auditor in there right now? Well, Nathan's Allen County, so I don't think we ever leave.
Here we do.
But yeah,
Good for you.
yeah, lots of you guys. So we are starting the cycle for our federal audits. So those that spend over, they just recently increased the threshold to $1 million. So if you spend over $1 million in federal money in a given year, then you qualify for what we call a single audit. And so that is required to be filed by September 30th of every year. So you guys become priority after you finish, or after you file your AFR, and we decide that you have spent and reached that threshold. You become our priorities. So you, along with cities and towns, are usually the other big units that we see. There are some townships that might qualify, but mostly it's counties and cities and towns. So as we move on throughout the summer, if you haven't seen your auditor, they will be there as long as you hit that threshold. If you didn't hit that threshold, you'll be seeing us probably later into the fall, maybe later fall, early winter. But like I said, counties get an audit every year. So if during that process you have any questions or concerns about your auditors, feel free to contact me directly. I'll do what I can to rectify the situation. If anybody loves the auditors and wants to give praise to those that are out there, if they did something outstanding, we'd love to hear that too. Otherwise, thank you all for being here and enjoy your week.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Gauger. I have been on the board for, about 35 days, so pretty new. It's my first auditors conference, so thank you for having me, whether you wanted me or not. I'm excited to be here. I was with the Board of Accounts some years ago. I was general counsel, and I left, and Paul kindly invited me back, and so I'm really glad to be here. I always liked numbers. I did tax litigation for a lot of years, but when I came back to the Board of Accounts, I decided, I'm going to take some accounting courses so I actually know some of this stuff. And it was really funny because I'm like, Paul, I'm really having trouble with adjusting entries. And he's like, Jennifer, you just draw a T account, and you have your credits and your debits, and you just draw the T. I'm like, I literally don't know what you're saying. So anyway, no, my point is I appreciate the work we do. I appreciate the work you do. I'm learning a lot about the specifics of accounting and auditing, so it's been great. I want to say that Stacy and Mike and Shelby are great resources for you. They're available anytime. If you have questions, please let us know. I know many of you do. If you ever hesitate to do so, please don't, because we're here to help you. We are all in this public service world together. Our goals are all the same, whether it feels like it or not during an audit. So please reach out. We're here to help. Happy to be here. And again, let us know if you need anything at all. We'd like to help you on the front end rather than the back. So thanks again.
We're now going to have Luke Kenworthy come up and talk with the Department of Local Government Finance.
Thank you. Jason couldn't be here. He had knee surgery, so I'm stepping in. I'm the Deputy Commissioner and Chief of Staff for DLGF. I started in February, and before that, I handled federal grants for the State Budget Agency for 11 years, so not local government finance, and I'm learning a lot. I will say, in just a few months, I recognize that most Hoosiers will never appreciate the work that you do and how complex things are. And so thank you for the work that you do. I appreciate that now. And I hope that as Deputy Commissioner, I can help make our agency a resource for you to make things easier as possible. So I also want to point out, although I don't know everything, I'm happy to help you. I do have cards, so if you find me, I'm happy to give you one. But also we have titans at our agency. We have amazing staff that I can lean on. Anna, our budget director over here, is incredible. We had Barry Wood, who's been assessment director for over 20 years. So between the two of them, we have over 50 years worth of local government finance experience, and they're extremely reliable. So if you need anything, please reach out to us. Everything's on our website, but don't feel like you can't send us an email and ask some questions. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Now, we would bring up David Bodorf, but I don't see him. Oh, there he is. That's what happens when you get old like me. I was telling Jennifer, I said, you know, you guys are actually looking like a pretty young bunch of people. That's a good thing. Then I started thinking maybe I'm just old. But I think it's great seeing it. I think honestly, it seems like you got a good group of younger people, which is great for local governments. But with that, here's David Bodorf.
Thanks, Paul. And I always want to start off and thank him and the partnership we have with the Board of Accounts to help put on this training and help organize the event. And they're just really, we have a great relationship with them and all in it for the betterment of local government. And so he and his whole team are very helpful to all of us. I want to thank you for coming to Indianapolis this week. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year. Not only it's because it's your conference this week, but it's also the Indy 500 this weekend. So everybody's gearing up for that, and it'd be an exciting time. And he mentioned Tammy White, and I can't tell you, every time I go to Speedway, Indiana, I feel like I run into Tammy White. For those who didn't know, Tammy lives in Speedway. She's a huge race car fan, and it's great to see her. And she's always asking about you all and saying how much she misses these types of events. So I do want to thank the leadership of the Auditors Conference as well, Jennifer Welsh, Deb Carnes, and then Laura Martin and Debbie Walker are both on our board of directors. So those four auditors serve on our board of directors. For those who don't know, our board is about 43 people, so a pretty large, diverse board of directors to make sure that we represent urban and rural counties, suburban counties, and every office is represented on our board of directors. And so they take the time to attend our meetings and help us organize the AIC. I do want to feel like, I just mentioned that I feel like session, which was a short session but very intense and lots of changes to local government finance, as there always is, I feel like it hasn't ended, because since session's been over, we've been dealing with assessment issues. I'm sure you've had people coming into your office talking about the increased assessment still, especially perhaps on the agriculture side, if you're hearing from people about their barn or their pole barn increase in assessed value. There's a reason for that. We've put out a 6-page document with the Assessors Association and DLGF to kind of explain what's happened the last couple of years when it comes to assessment issues. So we'll make sure that you all get a copy of that memo as well, so that you have that information if people come to your office and talk about that. But that's been a high intensity issue since session's been over. Also, with the governor suspending the sales tax on gas and the excise tax on gas, we've been working with the Commissioners Association and highway engineers and supervisors about what is that going to mean to your all's budgets on MVH. And there is a effect on local governments. The suspension of the gas tax will result probably in about 24 or 25 projects not being funded through community crossings unless the General Assembly backfills that money. And then with the suspension of the gas usage tax or the excise tax, that's going to have a bigger effect where that will start to hit your MVH revenue eventually, right? So not now. The suspension of the gas tax on its own was not going to be that big of a hit to local government finance, maybe $6 million spread out over every city, town, and county. But now with the excise tax being suspended as well, that could have a bigger effect. Our understanding is the governor can only suspend that for 60 days. And so unless the General Assembly comes back into session and allows him to extend that tax cut, it'll go back into effect in sometime in July. So that's been a high intensity issue, and spent a lot of time on that as well. But the thing we've probably spent the most time on since session's been over is the local government income tax changes. I'm sure some of you know about what's called the MUST committee, or maybe your municipalities are asking the county to have the MUST committee. Is everybody familiar with the MUST committee? So it's a May provision that you have the MUST committee, but we are recommending that eventually you have the MUST committee just to have the public discussion as to what's happening with income taxes. And so we've been doing a lot of training on that issue. Jamie Bolser, our new Director of Government Relations, has done 3 videos. You should have all received those videos. I'm not sure all 3 of them have been released yet, but it's a series of videos to talk about the new income taxes and, again, offering some guidance on not only the LIT, but the MUST committee as well. In upcoming, on the June 13th, the County Council Association will have their state called meeting, and at that meeting, we'll release the full income tax portal that our board of directors authorized us to pursue, and we have that software now. It's going through some fine tuning, but what that does, it walks through every possible scenario in every county and the effects of it from income tax collections and how you can distribute that money. So it's a very, very powerful tool. I think it's the most advanced tool out there. I know some of you may talk to your consultants, and they may be giving you estimates of what your revenues may be next year, but our tool is really up to date, and it's actually pulling in withholding. So as employers are withholding local income taxes now, that's the data source for us, which is much more current and accurate than using certified distributions from the previous years. So when that information comes out, that is going to be considered proprietary software. That's our program. The information that it produces would be public information, but the software itself is proprietary. So our plan right now is that you, the county auditors, will get a password for your county's page from the LIT portal. We want you to keep that password very, very close. We do not want this program out in where other people can use it. It's the Association of Indiana Counties proprietary software. We're going to give you that password. We want you to protect it. So that'll, as we develop the next month or so, finish the fine tuning on that portal, we'll get you the information about when you'll get access and what that password will be. Also, in addition to the June 13th meeting, on June 12th, we're having another Institute class where we'll talk about debt management. Yesterday in this room, we had our Budget and Finance class 2, which Jamie talked a little bit about the portal yesterday. So if anybody was in the meeting yesterday. You saw that. We recorded it. You can purchase the online recording. You or your council people or commissioners can all have access to that class in addition to our Budget and Finance 1 class, which was done during our district meetings. So please take advantage of the training we're putting out on this local income tax. And when you have the MUST committee, if you have it, it's your council's decision. Again, you're supposed to report to the DLGF sort of if you all came up with a solution locally on how the income taxes are going to be instituted going forward. But I do want to point out that MUST committee, it has one county council representative on there, and then every fiscal officer for every city or town, right? So that committee really can't commit their unit to whatever findings or suggestions that the MUST committee has. But the statute's in place. We encourage you to have the meeting, if for nothing else, just to make sure everybody understands within the county, where is income tax money being produced and how is it being distributed? Are certain units of government getting more income taxes than the residents within their municipality create, or it could be a library? So all those things are really important discussion to have locally. And we think if you use our software, you'll be able to see exactly what's happening currently in your community and then how you may want to project going forward. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to email Jamie or I. And again, if we do have 6 district meetings scheduled over the next few weeks, in the evenings, you should have received invitations for that. We've invited the auditors, commissioners, and council. So encourage you to do that training, and there's no concern if all 7 council members get on that training, that's not considered a public meeting, or the trainings that we provide, just like the Board of Accounts, are not, the public access laws aren't applicable as far as that being a public meeting. So any kind of training like that, all commissioners can be on the call or Teams meeting, all council as well. And so I encourage you to make sure you do that. Those are in the evenings, which we do that, at the behest of the council members who often have full-time jobs. So, last thing a couple other things I want to touch on is the fact book. Appreciate you all filling out the fact book for Elizabeth. For those who've been in the auditor's office for a number of years, we've shortened that survey down considerably. We're doing a lot more work in-house using the DLGF database to help collect that data, and Jamie's helping us do that so that the survey is much shorter. But if you can at least do the salary survey, that's very helpful to us. And I do want you to know that fact book is used by legislators and LSA as research when they're developing legislation and trying to figure out the fiscal impacts of certain legislation. They rely on our fact book as a data source. So it is important that we have that data so that when the General Assembly makes decisions, they're using the best available data as well. Recently, we mailed out some pins. I hope everybody received the AIC 250th birthday pins. Did everybody? If you didn't receive those, let us know. Again, we ask you to make sure those pins get distributed within your county, along with a little fact book or a little sheet that talks about the history of county government in Indiana. And hopefully you and other county officials will wear those pins through the 4th of July celebrations and even throughout the year as we celebrate the country's 250th birthday. One other thing I wanted to mention, something new we did started in March, and it's been very effective. Hopefully you all have seen this. We have actually purchased Facebook ad, and hopefully many of you have seen that. And the ad, so it's more than just us posting on our website. We've actually, by purchasing this Facebook ad, we've actually got information out to a much wider group of the public. And so just to give you some stats on that, we reached 191,000 people, Facebook accounts. People watched that video on average almost 3 times. So 191,000 accounts. This is the halfway point. We just finished the program yesterday, so we'll get an update on the full amount of the expenditures. But so 569,000 clicks on that website, on that video. That led to 8,000 people visiting our website, because at the end of the video it says, for more information, go to this website. So they went to our website, our blog, and on that blog, if you've never seen these videos, we have a video of what each office does as far as the assessor's office, their primary responsibilities, the auditors, the clerks, the treasurer, council, and commissioners. And so those education videos, the number of views have shot up dramatically as well. So so it's been a very successful venture. Within that ad, we talk about how counties only receive 18 cents of every property tax dollars. Reading the comments on Facebook, people were surprised at that, and that was part of the efforts to try to educate the public that, yes, we collect all the property taxes at the county level, but on average, we only keep 18% of it. And so the next video we do, we'll probably expand on that and talk a little bit more about, well, what does the county do with that 18 cents out of every property tax dollar? How do they spend that money? And of course, the majority of it's going to be talking about how we spend it on public safety to help fund the court system, the prosecutor staff, the public defenders, the jail. So we're really putting forth a big effort to educate the public about property taxes, about what county government does, and I have to say I've been really pleased with the initial results on that website purchase in the Facebook ads. So I think that's all the information I wanted to share with you all. We do have our annual conference coming up in Allen County, September 21st through the 24th. So registration for that will open around July 4th. We have plenty of hotels, but no matter how many hotels we get, I feel like we always max out. So when registration opens, I encourage you to get online as soon as you can and get registered and book your hotel rooms. But for those who've never been to Allen County, I'm sure many of you have been up there, but they have a great conference facility. Several hotels are attached to the conference area, but there'll be one or two hotels that'll be a couple blocks away. But the host committee up there is planning a fantastic conference. We're really looking forward to being up there in September. So again, anything we can do to help out, feel free to contact us. Again, watch the videos from Jamie. Try to watch the budget and finance class 2 yesterday and learn about that portal, because I feel like you're like everything with local government finance or county finance, you're going to be the point person, right? Everybody's going to come to you, the auditor, to find out how much income tax we received, where's it generated from, how do we spend it. And this software that we've purchased will explain all that and give you the best available data going forward. So again, I'll be around most of the day. Jackie Clements is here, our Director of Training and Professional Development, and she helped organize this event. Jamie Bolser, our Director of Governmental Affairs, will be here later. Elizabeth Mallers is our Communications Director. She was here yesterday. She'll be here later in the week. Pam Coleman handles our finances. She's the one who sends you all the invoices that we generate. And then Camden Morrell, who's our Deputy Legislative Director, he's actually at Purdue today. They're having a housing supply class, I guess you'll call it, or conference. So he's up there. Affordable housing is always a big issue, so we try to participate in that symposium up there today as well. So again, anything we can do to help you out, let us know. And welcome to Indianapolis, and thanks for being here. So.
Thank you, David. And we always, the Board of Accounts appreciates the partnership we have with David and the association, and we really hope it helps benefit you guys on a daily basis. Your next person to come up and talk is somebody that shouldn't be unfamiliar to you. It's the president of your association, Jennifer Welsh, which is the Daviess County Auditor. If you have never planned a conference, please stop and tell Jennifer thank you, because it's a very difficult task. So, Jennifer, thank you very much.
Good morning again. Just a few items so that you guys are aware. In case anyone is coming and going and not staying at the hotel, we do have parking passes that would get you in and out of the garage, so you don't have to pay for parking. Just make sure you see someone at the registration desk, and we'll make sure and get those to you. One thing, if you did not grab a bulletin, make sure you stop by and grab one as well. It has all the details of our food, things that are going on. Special thanks to some of our vendors that have sponsored and done things for our events and stuff this week. There's been one minor change to Wednesday's lunch. We did have a box lunch, but now it's going to be more of a make-your-own sandwich buffet type situation. So just so that you are aware of that change. All breakfast and lunch is down on the first floor, just past the bar area, and the seating just as breakfast was this morning. Thursday, it does state in here, it is our breakfast is upstairs here where State Board and everybody is. So just kind of in your navigations of knowing where that stuff is at. Wednesday evening, that is our event. We are going to be doing Songo. For anybody that's not aware of what that is, it's Song Bingo. There's going to be prizes for bingo winners. We've got glow sticks that are being sponsored by some of our vendors. So again, we just look to have fun and networking with everybody for that. I would like to take a moment and introduce the rest of our board and our officers. If I could have you stand up and wave at everybody. Our president-elect, Susan Sleeper. Vice President, Chris Hammock. Treasurer, Angie Birchmeyer. Secretary, Tony Mellencamp. And past President, Deb Carnes. If anybody has any issues or anything that comes up, please seek one of our board members out and we'll be glad to help in any way that we can. Again, thank you to all of our speakers, everybody that's here, that's giving their presentations. I hope everybody can learn from this and take it back. And again, make sure you see your vendors. And again, we do have a special page in here for each one of those individuals that a special thank you to that has helped pay for our entertainment in different situations this week, drink tickets and different things. So if anybody has anything, please seek me out, and hope you all have a good conference.
Thank you, Jennifer. We do have some time for questions. Elise is running just a little bit late. There's a lot of traffic out there. So Stacy has a microphone. Come on, ask questions, please.
I have my running shoes on.
If not, we're going to ask the 10th question in from the left. Go left, 10 people, and have them stand up and ask a question.
Like Tony. No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This is lucky row. You have all been selected. Oh, see, thanks, Deborah.
So what would you say is one of the number one or the most finding that you have on your audits?
Yeah, between internal controls, lack of segregation of duties, I mean, those are like way at the top. And honestly, every finding you have could be broken down into a lack of an internal control. I could sit up here and probably talk for days and hours, and it's really an exciting topic to talk about internal controls. Who loves talking about internal controls? Okay, it's actually should be, as the auditor and as the person that's in charge of your office, one of the number one topics on your list, because it's going to be the number one thing that could either, one, stop you from having a finding, getting ultimately, I mean, I don't want to say use the word in trouble, because we're not like going to smack your fingers, or something like that. I would if I could, but I can't. But it's the one that will make your reputation look bad. Is whenever you have a failure of internal controls in your office. And that's really something that, you can't get your reputation back. So, I've talked before to different groups, and probably you alone, one of the things that you haven't done it, that each of you should go back and do a risk assessment on your office and sit down and give it an honest risk assessment. And if you have people that are sharing passwords, you're exposed. And I guarantee you have people in your office that are sharing passwords. If you have, people that are doing multiple tasks at the same time, that could expose you. And you know, I know it sounds silly, but opening mail up and posting the transaction is a problem if you do it yourself. I can tell you one of the first shortages I ever had wasn't in a treasurer's office, but it was brought to me by the auditors. I mean, it was in a treasurer's office, but it was brought to me by an auditor's office, and it was somebody that took the receipts and posted the receipts. And, well, in this case, they didn't post them. And, you know, it wound up, and this was a long, long time ago, but, you know, over $300,000. And that is, like I say, a reputational hit that you can't recover from. And that comes from lack of internal control. So, I mean, that has to be the number one.
I'm supposed to fill a couple of minutes. I do want to commend Anna. I don't know if Anna's in here or not.
Anna, can you stand up? She stepped out.
Same age.
We'll make Luke stand up. Luke, go ahead and stand up. On behalf of Anna, Luke is standing up.
I couldn't tell from here. I know there were some issues with the abstract, and Anna actually loves abstract. And she was very helpful, probably not just to me, but other counties as well, when they had a backup and they had some technical issues that were not their own. But she was always getting back with us, and I know how busy they are down there. So I appreciate DLGF's work with all these changes coming up, keeping us informed, working with us. And frankly, the last several audits that we've had great people. I had no complaints about any of the audits that we've had. But we also like internal controls a lot.
Hey.
So, you know, that's a big thing. We learned that from Stacy and Ricky. But
you know, we took Ricky away from you guys. You've probably noticed that she's not here. And we actually sent her out to the field to work with you guys. So some of you counties out there may have Ricky working with you. Is there any of you in here that currently have Ricky working with you? There you go. You know, and that was one of the things that when we talked about was, you know, Ricky's been removed from the field for a little while, and we thought, you know, it's good to go out and get some of this experience and get back and make sure that we stay in touch with everybody. But I do appreciate your comment to DLGF. You know, DLGF, the Board of Accounts, whether it be the auditor's office, is going to come up here and talk in a minute. You know, we're here to help make your government work. We're not here to be a hindrance on your government. It does sometimes seem like that. I am sorry for that when that happens, but we are here to help make local government work. More questions? Come on, guys.
You don't have anything? Come on, this is the time to ask. Deb, thank you.
I'm just helping you out here. So in regard to internal controls, I know when I was a brand new auditor, it was somewhat foreign. Have we thought about doing any in-depth kind of workshops for some of the newer auditors coming in? I know that you mentioned the risk assessment, and I feel like when I was recorder, there was a page of key points to hit on a risk assessment. Is that something that maybe you could incorporate in a coming conference?
So I think that's a really great idea, because I know we're going to touch on it briefly during newly elected. So my thought is next year during quads, maybe doing in-depth look into internal controls. Then we're catching all of the new ones coming in, and then also any auditors have been reelected. It's a refresher, and we can go in-depth into all of that. That two-part series might be a really good time to do that. And obviously I'll touch on it in fall, because we love talking about internal controls. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've heard in the news a lot of sheriff's departments that have problems. You actually probably deal with sheriff's departments on a regular basis in your county. And they have their own fund over there called the Commissary Fund. And it's one that that we've been really working strongly with them on their internal controls and their risk assessments within that fund. So if you know you guys see some other areas in your county that you might see that need some special attention, like sheriffs, please do let Stacy know, and we'll see if we can get them some special attention. Sheriffs appreciate it a lot. I know it sounds funny, but
Hey, don't laugh.
I know, but they actually have a separate meetings like you guys, and we're inviting there all the time. So it's a really beneficial to them. I've given them all my cell number. I get calls from them at least weekly, saying, "Hey, can I do this? Can I do it this way?" And so it's been very beneficial. I do see that the speaker is here. Our next speaker is the Comptroller of the state of Indiana, which is Elise Nishala. Elise was appointed in 2023 to fulfill the duties of the state's constitutional office of the Auditor. She oversees statewide financial reporting, disbursements, tax revenues, payroll, vendor payments, and transparency initiatives, such as the Indiana Transparency Portal. And if you haven't noticed, she just recently posted the transparency aspect of federal funding and how that money is being spent. Prior to becoming comptroller, Elise was the president of the Boone County Council and president of the Indiana County Council Association, earning recognition in 2018 as the Indiana Counselor of the Year. She holds a degree from Oral Roberts University and Indiana University, where she also serves as an adjunct professor, adjunct faculty. She currently lives in Zionsville, Indiana. Please help me welcoming Elise Nishala.
Well, hello to you all. How are you all doing today? Learning a lot? As always, there's always so much to learn. I think, in teaching my children when they were growing up, it's like, y'all, we got to be lifelong learners, right? Well, I certainly am in that camp. I'm learning so much and so much to share with you today. I've got actual notes of content that I need to convey today. And I'm very excited to get this information transferred to you in service to the incredible and essential work that you do as the hub of the wheel of county government. So certainly Indiana continues to be recognized nationally for fiscal discipline, transparency, strong financial reporting, and these accolades are a direct reflection not only of our work at the state level, but your work at the county level. It all rolls up. So I want to acknowledge you for being a very significant part to the accolades that the state of Indiana receives. They are earned together. So my hat's off to each and every one of you. Our office is committed to equipping counties with tools that make your work easier, more timely, and more transparent for taxpayers. That is a route of continuous improvement that we're all on. I wanted to ask, how's it going with CVIT and FIT and us handling those calculations and getting those amounts to you? Is that achieving the goal of streamlining some processes between us? Okay, I'm seeing some nodding heads. Great. And that idea came from meeting with you all in your counties. If you have any other ideas for us on how we can improve the flow of work between us, please let us know. We love those ideas, and we love the opportunity to see where we can make improvements. You'll be hearing later today, actually right after the break, from Fred Van Dorp, who I know is a big fan of yours, and likewise, you're a big fan of his. He's got a great presentation ready for you, and he'll be giving some updates regarding settlement. All right, now we're going to talk about something that I've mentioned before, how we are leaning into leveraging top technology in the comptroller's office. And when we do that, we want to make sure that we share what we learn with you if it may be of help in your offices. This modernization, leaning into AI capabilities, that's a brand new frontier for us. And we issued an RFI a number of months ago, and we're just seeking to understand what could be done to leverage these incredible advancements in technology, because we certainly know the fraudsters are doing that. So we want to be on the leading edge of how do we incorporate this in service to Hoosiers and in making our processes more like a brick wall against them. So I wanted to also mention that there are different ways that AI is being incorporated to strengthen oversight and reduce errors and ease financial operations. And I want to give you just a few examples of what's happening across the state. And if these examples, bring some ideas to your mind, that is the purpose of it. So Family and Social Services agencies, the Medicaid program, they are now using predictive analytics to flag emerging costs and health care trends. NDOT is using AI to automate complex reporting processes. The Indiana Office of Technology is using AI for security monitoring and looking for abnormalities in their systems. And this modernization across government just strengthens the digital infrastructure that we all rely on. Now, as far as your comptroller's office, we reached out to several digital suppliers, and we have found that we can now incorporate forms with built-in validation for phone numbers and email addresses that reduces errors. And we are working on the automatic integration into our ERP system, or our Enterprise Resource Planning Portal, to streamline and avoid tedious manual entry processes. So like automatic entry, the claims automatically entered, and all that information. This is going to allow our staff to focus more of their time on looking at any red flags that emerge, needing additional attention. The automated routing of requests is also happening in documents to the correct reviewers. For example, using platforms that reduce manual handling, reduce staff workload, and opportunities for tampering are all things that we are pursuing. Also, we have secured e-signature workflows. Modern signature platforms use automated workflows that ensure documents reach the correct people in the correct order, reducing delays and preventing unauthorized changes. E-signature tools also automatically apply tamper-evident seals, so staff can trust that documents haven't been altered. We've also been expanding our security measures with automated banking checks and other tools in partnership with the State Treasurer's Office to reduce fraud. Now, here's how we use AI in a practical, controlled way. We are summarizing and comparing long contracts and financial reports as an assist. We are viewing in the Comptroller's Office AI much like an intern, much like, giving them a project, having them execute, and then we're responsible for reviewing every bit of it because it's our name and our credibility on the line. We have now started using Microsoft Copilot, and we have found it to be very helpful in accomplishing some of these tasks. It is always a trust but verify approach that we're taking. We also are using it to detect irregular email and vendor communication patterns. We're also using AI for faster retrieval of policy and procedural information. Phenomenal resource for going through the Indiana Code, mind you. And then we're also using it to help us draft routine memos or checklists. In fact, my chief of staff used it the other day to put together a new job description for a fellow program that will be able to offer a college finance major an opportunity to work in our office for the summer. This also supports fraud, waste, and abuse prevention. It enables earlier detection of suspicious activity. It reduces manual vulnerability of the keying in. It allows more time for analytical review and stronger, more consistent processes. If any of these efforts are sparking in you a curiosity, we are with you in this pursuit of figuring out how we can leverage advanced technologies for our offices. And we are ever at your service. If you would like to talk with any of us about more details on what we're doing, perhaps opportunities that would be there for you, we are here for you and happy to share further details about what this is looking like in our office. Now I'm going to pivot to a new topic that State Examiner Joyce keyed up for me. Thank you, sir. We are excited to be stepping in and providing a vast new level of transparency for Indiana's finances. We have always provided, well, since the Indiana Transparency Portal started back in like 2011, the total state expenditures for Indiana. We also provide vendor contracts, payments to vendors, all of the dollars that are distributed to you at the local level. It's all on there, all of our payroll information. But we needed a section completely devoted to federal dollars coming to the state of Indiana. And really the main reason for that is because prior to COVID, Indiana was receiving in on an annual basis between $12 and $14 billion. And then COVID came, it shot up to $26.4 billion. And it has remained at an elevated level since then. And when you have that much more money coming into the state of Indiana, it opens doors for good things and it opens doors for not so good things. So the best thing we can do is to shine as much sunlight on these numbers as possible. We've been working in conjunction with Governor Braun, with the heads of Indiana's state agencies, with our 2 U.S. district attorneys, with the DOJ, with the FBI, with the media. We've given them previews to this new expansion of ITP. It's called the Federal Funding Expenditures Dashboard. And the response that we've received has been just very positive. Like, absolutely, we need to get this information out there. And so I share it with you today because you can drive down to information on counties and federal dollars that you have received. So we have up here slides, and I'm going to just give you a little diagram of how you can find this information of federal dollars coming to your counties. So we'll start here with, well, first of all, you go on to ITP and then you click the Finances square. This is what you see after you click the Finances square. And then you click Federal Funding Expenditures. The last column there is expenditures. You see that? And then you can see federal funding expenditures, there it goes in red. Everybody see that? Okay. Then from there, am I responsible for advancing these slides? I must be. Okay, hang on here. Okay, there's the first one. Okay, so this is the Indiana Transparency Portal. You click on Finances. Then the next one, under Expenditures. Okay, federal funding expenditures. Then the next one, here we go. Top right corner. Well, okay, here just gives, this is the main dashboard for the federal funding expenditures. I'm gonna click, there we go, that's what I'm looking for. See right there? That is the detail table. I'm taking you to the county information. Next, here we go. We sorted by county. In this case, we sorted by DeKalb County. Is the DeKalb County auditor here? Anyhow. Is she here? Oh, hey, Susan, how you doing? Didn't mean to make an example of your county, but this is all good, right? Okay. So then here we go. We just sorted by DeKalb. And there you can see federal dollars coming to DeKalb County. You can put in your county and see all the information. All right. Then from there, an instruction pop-up box appears. Hover to the left of the fiscal year and click, and it will open up to show expenditures by quarter. Boom. All right. And then from there, here are the expenditures by quarter for fiscal year 2025 for DeKalb County. Simple enough, right? Certainly if you need some assistance, we're here for you. But just so you know that this is there for you as a resource to check your numbers and to see what's being reported out there. So I hope that this is a service to you. And truly, we are just welcoming every Hoosier, whether they're a county elected official, a county auditor, or part of the media, or a concerned citizen, or a legislator. We are welcoming everybody to take a look at this. And certainly, if anyone sniffs out something that doesn't quite smell right, let's go figure out what's going on. Because in the state of Indiana and in our 92 counties, we root out fraud, waste, and abuse. All righty. Now we are going to go on to property taxes. I just saw, ma'am, you go, oh boy. Well, you know better than anyone. Property taxes continue to be a major effort. And certainly every year the legislature is making tweaks, always on this pursuit to make property taxes objective. And that's a tall order to get them from being subjective to objective. But we're always working on it. Property taxes are complex, deeply interconnected, and critical to funding local services. So we are also committed to providing legislators with information on property taxes as they make their reviews, as they pursue certain changes. There have been some discussions at the State House where, I don't know where they're going to go. But I do know that we are stepping in, along with AIC and along with the Auditors Association, to make sure that they understand all of the aspects of property taxes that must be taken into account when you make changes. It's so easy to talk about things at this high level, but making policy changes just when you're talking about things at a high level, you got to take it all the way down to the granular level, right? To understand, property taxes are so intertwined. They've been with us, we could just say forever. And so we're doing our best, again, to help them understand all the complexities of TIF, right? To understand all of the debt that is backed by property taxes, to understand the school referendum. So we've put together a document that we are getting out to any and every legislator that would like this information, almost as a checkoff list. Like, when you are making your policies, have you thought of this, and this? If you hear that your legislator is looking at making some policy changes on property tax too, I just encourage us all to be at their service, to make sure that they have all the information that they can to make really solid decisions, because we know how those decisions affect us at the local level. So let's all step into that together, and I think we'll make a great contribution to legislation as it continues to go forward. All right, the gas tax suspension. We are in the second 30-day holiday from gas tax. And I wanted to make sure that you all, I mean, you're auditors, so I don't know that you need this kind of information, but I'll offer it anyway, just in case. I was speaking to a group of mayors the other day and laid it out for them, which they really appreciated. But then again, you know, you are the ones behind the numbers, so forgive me if I go too elementary on you. All right. So, the gasoline usage tax, 23 cents, and gasoline excise tax, 36 cents on these gallons. And the first one went from April 8th to May 8th. The second one from May 6th to June 7th. Now that first month, you'll just calculate a decrease by about 40%. That's what the gas tax distribution is to you all at the county level. So if you just take your historical data on what you receive on a month-by-month basis on average, divide it by 4, and then subtract 40% for those last 3 weeks, that's what you can expect. And remember, it's always, of course, in arrears, which you all know all that. So, just for some further information, about 12% of the gas tax is distributed to cities and towns based on population, and about 26% is distributed to counties on a formula basis. In total, about 38% of MVH revenues flows to local units of government. How's that going for you all? Are you starting to see a decrease in revenue coming in? Yes? I think one of the things we can do is make sure that our county councils and commissioners understand this decrease, and as best as you can, give it an amount, at least an estimated amount, so that they can be aware. That would be very, very helpful. And I guess I should also mention LRS. The revenue is typically composed of about 57% of gasoline tax. So we are also looking at a decrease in LRS as well. It's a much smaller amount than for MVH. All right. Now I get to honor a few people. The Auditors Association has been very generous in helping us fill roles in the Comptroller's Roundtable, which this is a group that meets twice a year to advise us on programs that we have ideas for and let us know, are they a good idea or a bad idea? And, you know, kind of like what we're doing for property tax. We want to hear from you all, like, okay, Comptroller's Office, have you thought about this, and this? Well, no, we haven't. Thank you very much. And I just want to acknowledge some folks that have been so helpful to us. And if you're ever interested in serving on this roundtable, please let your association's leadership know. So, Adams County Auditor Tony Mellencamp, where are you, Tony? Hey, thank you, sir. Davies County Auditor and President now, Jennifer Welsh, thank you. DeKalb County Auditor Susan Sleeper, thank you, ma'am. Hancock County Auditor and past President Deb Carnes. Marshall County Auditor Angie Birchmeyer, thank you. Noble County Auditor Shelley Mahorter, where are you, Shelley? And Perry County Auditor Christina Hammock, thank you. I appreciate all the officers serving as well as a few of their recommendations. Thank you so much. This year, the Roundtable is providing important guidance on a new project. It's short-form training videos that we're producing starring Fred. You know, we all know how those short videos on, let's just say, social media, right? You can just click through them, they keep your attention. So we figured, well, instead of just offering, you know, when Fred does this great training, right? It's going to be a chunk of training. Instead of just putting that up on our website, which we will continue to do. We're going to break things down from his presentation today, as well as produce other short videos to where you can go to a library and say, oh, I really want to know about XYZ topic. And most hopefully you will find something addressing specifically that topic. And if you have ideas on specific topics for us to produce these short form videos, please get that information to your association and please forward that to us. So yes, 2, maybe 3 minutes max, and you get a great nugget concentrated on one particular topic. We're also going to be looking at some more complex topics as we go through the year. And we will make sure that we do our darndest to make complex topics simple. We all need that simple step by step, and that's our goal in this. Just in closing, you all are indispensable partners on the financial side of government here in Indiana and in your counties. We truly appreciate our partnership with you. It is a two-way street, and coming from county government, I just have the highest regard for what you do for our local units day in and day out, and for the relationship that we have really pretty much on a daily basis. Whatever we can do to better that workflow, we're all in. And I just want to say God bless each of you in your pursuits of public service, and God bless each of you in service as auditor to your county. We'll be around for a little bit if you have any questions, and after your break, Fred's coming up here. Thank you so much.
Hi, guys. It's always great to have Elise one more time. We love having her at conference.